Hello, watch enthusiasts and frontline workers. Back again with another review on a watch that I believe would work fantastic for our frontline workers by the precisionist Seiko. Hence the name Seiko. Seiko, if you didn't know, actually means precision. And so their watches are as such simply made, but most of them are legible and you know, they have many different tiers of watches, from the low end kind of watches that work really well, and then they have the middle of the road with their Presage line, and then you have the high end, which is Grand Seiko. So we'll get right into this watch. This watch here is the Seiko SNZG13. It's a pretty good watch. I love this watch, actually. I wear it quite a bit to work. As you can see, I got it on a NATO strap so I don't lose it. It's secure. It has that feel aesthetic. We wear blue at my company, so I have that blue NATO going. This one came on a bracelet. It came on a pretty cool bracelet. As you can see, that anti-reflective coating is not too anti-reflective. I don't think they got too much on there. But just some basic specs on this watch. So you got a 42 diameter case. You got from lug width to lug width. That's 22. So you shouldn't be able to find have any problem finding straps or switch out for straps. Like I said, this came on a bracelet. Seiko bracelets are generally not all that great. I love Seiko as a brand. My dad grew up, when I saw him, he had Seiko on all the time. So Seiko is a big deal to me as far as a brand is concerned. I have a lot of Seiko watches, or watches that have Seiko movements in it. But this is a very, very good watch. You can see the legibility is absolutely phenomenal on this watch. Loom is not all that great, but yeah, you have the indices that are loomed and the hands that are loomed, and then they have, as you can see, that nice little red tip on your seconds hand. That also has a piece of loom in it. But sorry, I digress. I went away from our dimensions. So let's go back to our dimensions. We got a 42 millimeter case. The lug widths are 22 millimeter across. The thickness of this, off of the NATO band, as you can see, the NATO band will add a little bit more thickness to it, but the thickness off of this is actually 12 millimeters. So you got 12 millimeters this way. This is a flat mineral case. If you look at, rather a flat mineral glass, and that is Hardlex crystal, proprietary Hardlex crystal that is grown and made by Seiko, and that's what they use on all their glasses. Sometimes you'll find some of their watch with sapphire, but this Hardlex is pretty tough. I wear this to work quite often, and it's pretty tough. You don't see much scratches on it, as you can see, but I use it at work. I beat it up. If you look at the top of this watch just sustains some bruises, and like, you know, it's still in great shape. It has a display case back. I'll show you that here in a minute, with the 7S36 movement in there. No hacking, no hand winding. You have to do a little Seiko shuffle to get the watch started every morning. But this is probably best used as a daily wear. I mean, you wear it every day, and so the automatic movement in the back will keep it just running pretty well. Also, this watch is fairly accurate. I don't have a time grapher. I can just tell you by just checking my phone and the watch, and day to day it keeps a fairly accurate time, so it doesn't drop off too much. If you look back here, you have that movement that I just spoke about here a minute ago, and it's you can see it's beating away. But you know, Seiko, as far as beauty, you're not going to see much beauty with the movement, but the robustness is just completely robust. It's a movement to last you about 10 years. I think they say the recommended servicing intervals for these movements are like 2 to 3 years. But I've heard people not even servicing these. I've heard of them just going ahead and, you know, after about 5 6 years, this it's a watch that's worth like a little over $100 or so. But after 5 6 years, they feel like they get their money's worth, and they just go ahead and trade the watch in. I love Seikos. I've had Seikos, like I said, all my life. I've kept them with me all my life, and so they've just been a part of my whole, pretty much my whole watch world. But this one is a great watch. We'll go ahead and have a quick on the wrist for you to see how it looks on the wrist. But just know that this is a great watch to use here for us frontline workers. There it is on the wrist. I have a 7-inch wrist basically, and that's how it sits on my wrist. It sits pretty well. A lot of people, you have to be really into field watches. I love field watches. I think the aesthetic, the look, especially for us who are out there on those front lines getting this stuff done, I think the look of it is just absolutely phenomenal. Legible in the night, in the day, doesn't matter how close, how far, it doesn't matter. The watch is legible all the way around. It sits pretty well on my wrist. I really love this watch. So it's kind of like one that I go away from for about a week and then toss it back on, and I'll have it on for like a couple of weeks and then, go to something a little bit different. So I have to be careful when I wear this, especially when I'm in work mode. I like things that are gonna work for me every single day, keep accurate time, and able to have a 24-hour clock on there. I mean, there's a multiple of different facets that makes this watch so special. And like I said, this is just a quick little review of this watch. If it's something that you're interested in, it's offered on Amazon. I will give you the the code again. It's the Seiko SNZ G13, SNZ G13. That's how you would look that watch up to get it. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you learned something about watches. And remember, Seiko, when you see Seiko, you see precision. And like I say, as in the words of the great Leonard Nimoy, everybody live long and prosper.